What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video here today on the channel. We have another Sorare scouting video. Today is going to be top 10 cheap beasts from the Eredivisie. If you guys are enjoying these scouting videos, then please do show me by leaving a like. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into the Eredivisie. Yes guys, here it is, the Eredivisie cheap beasts, and in today's video we were massively helped by SorareRemco on Twitter. He is our league expert for today, and me and him had some conversation back and forth and pretty much developed this top 10 cheap beasts, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they do well in the Sorare season, and we will be following to see how well they do. Of course, if you guys are interested in getting into the Eredivisie and things like that, and you want updates and that sort of stuff, and you just want to support the channel, I would really appreciate if you go and drop him a follow. The link will be in the description down below, and that just pretty much shows the support from you guys to him to help me make this video today. So yeah, I would really appreciate if you go and show him some love from me. And yeah, with that being said, we'll go on with the video today. Of course, if you guys haven't signed up to Sorare already, remember my link is in the description down below to sign up. And yeah, I think there's a promo to sign up as well. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, our first name for today is going to be Mr. Horemans from Utrecht, and he is a defender. And something I did want to say is I was really looking at a lot of Utrecht, to be honest, because they had a great season. So I've done a lot of scouting today, and this man just looks absolutely incredible. And we have a note here from Remco that says Utrecht have done some great business in this transfer period, which I absolutely agree with, and he expects them to be a solid team again this year, which obviously, yeah, based on last year, you would like to think so, because they did have a very good season with some great players as well, especially under 23s for the series, as you guys know. And another thing he said here to add to Horemans is he said fantastic scores and a real AA killer with an average of above 22 AA, which is pretty crazy on Sorare, if you guys know. So he does have, you know, the odd like error in him, as you can see here, but I mean, for the times that he peaks like this, especially at the back end of the season here, definitely one that we have to add to. And I will say, guys, for all of these scouting guides and things like that, I do highly recommend you guys using the scouting tool here on Sorare. As you can see on the left column, there's a little scout tool. You can go to watch lists and you can make a little watch list. You've seen here, I have one here called Eerie for the video today, and all you have to do is when you click and find the player, add to Eerie, there you go, and they are added. So then when you go over here, you click on it, hopefully it will update. I'm not too sure if it will do. There we go, it's already updated. So this is our first name on the cheap beast for today. Up next we have Sven Mijnans. I'll be honest, I probably should have said at the start of the video, I am horrible at pronouncing names, so I will absolutely pronounce every single name wrong in this video. But fortunately, you guys can see his name right up there, so you know who I'm talking about. Now, this man is got a wonder left foot on him, Mr. Sven, and he sort of plays in that 10 role for AZ, and he has had a very good season and even spiked at 90 and 100 scores in his most recent performances. Now, something I will say with Sven, you have to be a little bit careful here. As of recording, he has not moved clubs. However, he is massively linked with PSV, which just kind of I guess is a testament to show just how good he has been. And of course, if he does move, or if he has moved by the time this video comes out, of course he will have to fight a little bit for his spot at a side like PSV. But if it could be a good thing, because if he does go to PSV, then of course he's playing for a bigger club, and the potential to get even better scores is there, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Sven is a great one, but he does come with some caution, so bear that in mind when purchasing. Up next we have Sergino Dest. Now, obviously last season he didn't play much, as you can see here. He actually had a massive injury and was actually out for quite a long time. And Remco says here that he was out with an anterior crucial ligament torso, yeah, ACL. So it's not looking good for him. Well, it wasn't looking good for him, but he has returned. And for those of you guys that do know Sergio Dest, he's an absolute clinical scorer, especially on Sorare. Unfortunately, I did have a little look to try and get his previous scores up. Oh, there you go. I was going to say I struggled a little bit to find them, but you can see here before his injury, just an absolute fantastic scorer, and I'm going to be very interested to see where his price point is at the start of the season, because I don't know if he's potentially one that people have forgot about, although, you know, he's playing for PSV. He's one of their, you know, one of their best players when he was playing, so I doubt people will forget about him, but I did want to include him in the video today just on the off chance that he is a little bit cheaper than he should be potentially. Remco says here, last games of the season he was playing again, and he thinks he can get back to his old form or his old self, and obviously we've just seen there what kind of scores he can get, so hopefully he can come back from his injury and do well, although I will say we have seen it in the past, you know, some injuries do ruin players. However, based on these very short amount of time, I will say, based on these scores, it looks like he's still doing the business, so maybe one to keep your eye out on. Here's a fun one. Mike Eerdhuijzen. Definitely 100% how you say his name. A new transfer for Utrecht, and he is a centre back, and he is, well, was scoring fantastically with Sparta Rotterdam, as you can see from his scores here. Now I will say, obviously Sparta Rotterdam are a much worse club than Utrecht, so you like to think that now he is at a better club, maybe he can hit these hundreds again. But he is going from like one end of the table to the other, so maybe that'll play a factor. And I also did want to note, or Remco does say here, that Utrecht, of course, did. It's a great point. I didn't really think about it, to be fair. But Utrecht have qualified for the Europa League, so that could affect his legs. Maybe he's not used to playing 2 a week if he is expected to play that much football, which I expect him to be. But he, again, like I said, this is a cheap beast video, and I reckon he's going to be cheap. I hope he's going to be cheap, because he's definitely a great one to get in them Sorare sides, and he is one that will definitely be added to our list. Next we have Chery. Now the reason I included this man is because there's a great friend of the channel called Michel or Mike. I'm going to leave the link to his YouTube in the description down below, and Mike won some fantastic rewards with this card this year, and I decided to include him in the video, kind of sort of to, you know, give him his praises, but also to shout out Mike, who is a great YouTuber, and he is Dutch, and he is an absolute Eredivisie mastermind as well. So for those of you guys that might be interested in the Eredivisie and you want a second opinion, Mike is definitely a good YouTuber to watch on Sorare. So look in the description down below and drop him a little subscribe. And yeah, obviously Chery, a great attacking midfielder with an even better left foot, and he loves a goal from outside the box as well, I will add. The only downside to Chery is he is 37, guys, so don't expect too much utility out of this card. Maybe a bit of a one-season thing if you do pick him up, but hopefully his price will reflect in that and you can get him nice and cheap. Up next, we have a man that, honestly, he might be a bit too expensive for this video, I'll be honest, but I had to include him because he is a Moroccan and he's probably my favourite Eredivisie player. So here he is, Ismael Saibari. I think that's how you say his name, I'm not too sure, but fantastic player, killed it this season, and I think the fact that he's a like, what's the right word, like a very he's not like a striker, it's like a great like wide sort of player slash midfielder, and he has a forward card, so like they're the types of forward cards that I really like, and that's why I really enjoyed this guy and had to include him in this video, because again, I do this sometimes in these videos where the players might not necessarily be cheap, but I think they are just going to be one of the best in their positions, and I hope that he is going to carry on representing the Moroccan boys in the best way possible and carrying on killing it for PSV. Remco says here in his last 18 matches where he started, or his last 18 matches where he started, he managed to get 11 goals and 10 assists. So yeah, PSV are going to be one of the favourites again this season, so no doubt this man will have a big role to play in that. Up next, we have the man from Feyenoord, and I do think Feyenoord are going to be competing for the title this season, so I had to include one of their wingers. Of course, for those of you guys that played under 23s this year, you will know all about this man, and you know what? Just for the culture, I'll try and pronounce his name. Anis Hadj Moussa, something like that. But yeah, a fantastic wide player who's just great at cutting in, great at dribbling, and on the ball just in general. Very quick and nice winger to have in your team, and especially if he's playing for one of the top sides, he's going to be, a player that you want in your lineups every week if possible. Again, one that might be a little bit pricey, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I have the prices aren't out at time of recording, so it's obviously hard for me to say prices, but regardless, he's going to be a beast, so had to include him in the video here today. And yeah, like I said, Remco saying here, his last his last 15 and L40 are a little bit lower due to the Champions League games where he didn't score above 41. But obviously, we're doing this for Eredivisie, so for the Eredivisie, he's very good. And of course, I mean, having Champions League utility is never a bad thing. Yes, guys, if you're looking for another cheap alternative in that midfield, I think Michel Vlap is going to be a fantastic choice. And the reason for this is because I believe Sam Stein, if that's how you say his name, is leaving the club, and that leaves a sort of a gap to be filled in that midfield. And I think Michel Vlap is going to be the guy to do that. With that being said, there is a very good chance as well that Vlap goes back on free kicks, and for those of you guys that know, in Sorare and fantasy football, it's great to have the set piece takers, just because they have more opportunity of getting assists and scoring and things like that. So yeah, Michel had to be included, and I think he's going to be an absolute, a killer cheap option for the Eredivisie this season. Let's see. Up next is Calvin Verdonk, a little bit more of an experimental one because he does play for NEC. Now, Remco does reckon that he is going to finish in the top, they are going to finish in more of the upper half of the table this season. However, it's a little bit risky to go for players that maybe, or defenders especially, that play for clubs that are maybe not the best. So maybe take Calvin Verdonk with a little bit of a caution when approaching him. However, he's very versatile, playing centre-back and left-back, and you can see here he's played a lot of games, so he is one that you can rely on week in, week out. And Remco here says he is a great AA scorer, and he takes over 20 AA points in his last 40 matches in the Eredivisie, which is a phenomenal stat line. And yeah, definitely one to take note of, but perhaps really wait until he does reach a low price, because he's one that will get to a low price for sure. It's just how long it takes for him to get there. Last but not least is Yoann Cathline, and this guy has had sparks of absolute brilliance in the Eredivisie this season, sort of like a bright light on that wing for Utrecht. I will say that Remco has given us some honourable mentions alongside Cathline, and he has said that other great options are Ant-Man from GAE, and also Miguel Rodriguez, of course, another Spaniard from Utrecht, and we know about him from the Under-23 Road to Glory, but he has gone with Cathline because he believes he is going to be the cheapest of the three. With that being said, obviously, if this comes out and one of the other two are cheaper, then go for them. But yeah, Cathline, great dribbler, rumoured to be linked with PSV and Ajax, so obviously there's a little bit of caution there. And again, when recording, he hasn't made them moves yet, but by the time the video is out, there is every potential that he could have moved. However, if you've got interest from clubs like that, they're not just going to buy you and not play you. So I assume he will still have utility if he does move on to perhaps a different club. But yeah, Cathline had to be included into the Cheap Beast video purely based on the form that he has had this season and the fact that I think he's going to be quite a cheap pickup. So there you have it then, boys. There is our 10 Eredivisie picks. I'll be interested to see how they get on this season. It'll be fun to sort of look back on this season, or look back on this video, should I say, after the season, and look to see if some of these players really did do the business or not. Again, massive shout out to SorareRemco for helping in the video today. Of course, please do help the channel by supporting him and supporting me. Please do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace.